Mine, it's such a pleasure to finally get to chat with you. It feels like a
Yes.
long time coming. I've chatted with so many of your co-stars and special guests these last few years. Tell me, how exciting were you to get a second season and an opportunity to continue to tell these stories?
I was ecstatic. I like to think that I was very confident of what we had done, but to get that official order, it was just such a sigh of relief because we get to continue telling these stories and really like we are a family on and off stage. And I think that just translates to this season. I know we only got 10, but these 10 episodes, even my dad said to me when we were filming the finale recently, he was like, if I like there's 10 episodes of like strong episodes. Like I don't think in George Lopez there was like 10 that were that strong. So we really went in there, like Latinos, we get the job done and go full force. And I think that's exactly what we did in this season. So I can't wait for everyone to see. We get back-to-back episodes. You don't have to leave the couch.
Yeah, no, I've had fun with them so far.
Yes,
I've also got to chat with a couple of your guest stars like Jaime and Diana.
yes.
Uh, and how has that been being able to really build this community around your show where you're having all these familiar faces really be part of this universe that you guys live in?
Yeah, I've been actually I've been coining a new term of it at being the LCU, the Lopez Cinematic Universe. But I think it's so lovely and so important to have, especially like these guest stars that are, that are Latine. And I think Jaime and Diana both being, Jane the Virgin and Gordita Chronicles, like these huge shows that I think it's wonderful to have that crossover, but to also amplify and really showcase the talent that we have within the community and we all get to play with one another. It's always just makes it like extra special. And I can't wait for this week's episode for everyone to see what we have planned with Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Actually, I have not seen that one. The last one I watched was one where you introduced Jaime, and you guys,
Yes.
your dad goes to the Raider game.
Yes.
So good times.
I was like, oh yeah.
What I wanted to I wanted to ask you about kind of the familiarity of your cast and working with like Bryce and Selenice and Matt and your dad, and because of the fact that you have that season in the can, really, um, does that make it so that you guys knowing each other's strengths and maybe your weaknesses to be able to kind of dig a little deeper as far as storytelling and maybe pushing a little harder to get maybe a sentiment or point across?
Absolutely. I feel so incredibly lucky with our cast with, Al, Salanice, Bryce, and Matt, where we really connected. But I think with having a second season under our belts, I think there are some moments, I think especially with Rosie and George, also me and Matt and mine and Quinten as well. But there's some really emotional scenes and a lot of we really go through a lot. And I think having that familiarity really we have been able to go to that extra level. And I think having that comfortability of let's try it this way, or okay, do you want to go there? Yes, we can go there. And just feeling that comfortability with one another because we want to be able to tell the best stories that we can. So we are a group that is not afraid to, you know, go deep.
And then how great is it, in your point of view, to be able to tell these stories through our lens and our heritage, but also they're universal stories. They're stories that don't necessarily apply to any race.
I think yes, for both. I love that, this show just showcases a family that just happens to be Latine. And I think that in itself is always so important to me of, we don't have to have like chilies hanging in the kitchen for people to get it, or, where they try to, kind of characterize or like, us where, it's like, no, like Mayan and Rosie are two like strong Latine women, and that we're just two powerful Latinas that are just, with family. We hold down the house. We give it back. We have our attitude. I think that's so important. I think with the stories that we're telling this season of, like the machismo, but the alcoholism within the community of being like, drinking was around, seeing the drunk deal, that I didn't realize that I became the drunk deal, something similar like that, where it's very specific, which I think is, we don't air a lot of stuff out as a community. So I think that's always something that's so important to me. And for people to be able to see themselves is like more than I could have ever wanted. And to be able to watch the first show with my dad, to be able to do the same thing is something that I want to do for the rest of my life and continue to do this for hopefully many more seasons. Means
And then
everything.
speaking of which, how has that been? How is continuing to work with your dad and continuing to grow yourself as an actress and maybe get behind the camera and to really see all the nuts and bolts of the TV industry in order to, whatever you decide to do next or in partnership or next to Lopez versus Lopez, because we want more seasons. We want a lot more seasons.
Yes. I think with the first season, I'm like, a sitcom doesn't solve everything. With my dad and I, we're still a father and a daughter where, we bicker, be like, I got it. Okay. I got the joke. I know I didn't land it, but I got it, where we kind of, have our things. But I think having that with one another, I think through the first season, we really became stronger and kind of had a respect for one another. And I think for me, I've become much more comfortable in the second season. I never done sitcom, let alone it being about your life, and a lot of things were coming up and it wasn't easy, but I pushed through because I would want to tell those stories and have it affect people. So to be able to have, knowing that and getting those responses and messages from fans, that helped me with this second season of, like, I'm just going to keep continuing what I'm doing. I'm a co-executive producer now, not just a producer. So to be able to have the process from the outside of, being able to pitch, always telling jokes and always being that involved, I definitely want to be able to do that. And I'm going to continue to do that because I definitely want to continue to tell stories that are personal, but, also specific to the community, among other things.
Yeah, because for me, I'm 35. I did grow up with the George Lopez show.
Mhm.
And then so this actually continuation really feels natural because I mean my fiance is not she's definitely white. So and we have that family dynamic. And so it's really, really relatable and I love it. So Mayan, thank you for the show and thank you for your time. It's nice to finally be able to get a few minutes to chat with you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. It means a lot.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye.